You think you have friends, right? People who will always be there for you. Let me ask you something. Where were all those ride or die friends the last time you were at your lowest? Where were they when you were struggling, crying behind closed doors, wondering if anyone actually cared? Let me tell you the truth you don't want to hear. No one is coming to save you. Not your best friend, not your partner, not your family. People will tell you, I've got your back. But when life gets ugly, when things get hard, most of them will vanish. And it's not because they're evil. It's because they're human. They have their own problems, their own struggles, their own survival to worry about. And if you don't understand this, if you keep expecting people to show up for you just because you would show up for them, you are setting yourself up for a lifetime of pain and disappointment. Let me be very clear. Loyalty isn't what you think it is. That fantasy you have of someone who will never leave, never disappoint you, never betray you, that's a movie script. That's not life. In the real world, people are loyal only to their needs, their comfort, their convenience. And when your pain, your struggle, your truth stops benefiting them, they're gone. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. If no one is truly your real friend, then what? What do you do when you realize that everything you've been told about friendship, about loyalty, about being there no matter what, is a lie? You stop expecting it. You stop begging for it. And you start building the one friendship that will never break, the one with yourself. Because that, my friends, is the only loyalty you can count on. You ready to hear the truth? Because once you do, you'll never see people the same way again. You've been told your whole life that loyalty is the foundation of every strong relationship. That friends are supposed to have your back, no matter what. That if you're a good person, if you show up for people, if you're there when they need you, they'll do the same for you. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Sounds fair. But let me tell you something that's gonna sting. That's not how the world works. Loyalty, the way you imagine it, is a myth. It's an idea people sell you because it feels good. It makes us feel safe. But the truth is, people are loyal to one thing, and it's not you. They're loyal to their own needs, their own comfort, their own survival. And the sooner you understand this, the freer you become. Think about it. How many times have you been there for someone, dropped everything to help them, stayed up late, talking them through a breakup, lent them money when they were struggling? Now, how many of those same people were there for you when you needed them? How many picked up the phone when you were falling apart? How many showed up without you having to beg? You know the answer. And I'm not saying this to make you bitter. I'm saying it because you need to stop living in a fantasy. This world is not built on loyalty. It's built on self-interest. People will stay close to you as long as it benefits them. The second it doesn't, the second your problems become too heavy, the second you stop being useful or convenient, most people will disappear. And here's the kicker. It's not because they're bad people. It's because they're human. Every single one of us is wired for self-preservation. When someone says, I'll always be there for you, what they really mean is I'll be there for you as long as it doesn't cost me too much. And when the cost becomes too high, time, energy, money, they're out. You might be thinking, but what about family? What about my closest friends? Surely they're different. Are they? Take a moment and be brutally honest with yourself. How many people in your life have shown you that their loyalty has limit? Maybe you've had a fight and suddenly they weren't around anymore. Maybe you went through a hard season and they drifted away because it was uncomfortable for them. Maybe they promised they'd stick by you, but when things got ugly, they ghosted you. It hurts, doesn't it? But here's the truth. The hurt comes from your expectation, not their action. You expected them to be something they never signed up to be. You projected your idea of loyalty onto them, and then got crushed when they didn't meet it. That's not their fault. It's yours. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's the truth that will set you free. Stop expecting loyalty. Stop expecting people to behave according to your script. The moment you remove that expectation, you take your power back. You stop being the victim of other people's choices. Because here's the truth. Nobody owes you anything. Not friendship, not loyalty, not love. People give you those things when it works for them, when it feels good, when it fits into their life. That's reality. Now, does this mean you can't trust anyone? No. Does it mean you can't have meaningful relationships? Absolutely not. But it does mean you need to stop expecting blind, unconditional loyalty from anyone other than yourself. Because that expectation will destroy you. It will make you bitter. It will make you resentful. And it will keep you stuck in relationships that drain you because you're chasing a fantasy. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're climbing a mountain with a group of friends. At the bottom, when things are easy, everyone is laughing, joking, taking selfies. But as you climb higher, the air gets thin, the terrain gets rough, people start getting tired. One by one, they drop out. They say, "Hey, I'll wait for you here." Or, "This is too hard, I'm going back." And suddenly, you're climbing alone. Now, are they bad people for leaving you? No. They're just prioritizing their own safety, their own comfort. That's what humans do. Life works the same way. When everything is good, everyone's around. But when the climb gets steep, when you lose your job, when you get sick, when life knocks you down, people disappear. And that's okay, because the climb was yours, not theirs. So what do you do with this truth? You stop resenting people for being who they are. You stop expecting anyone to carry you up the mountain, and you start preparing to climb it alone. That doesn't mean you isolate yourself. It means you appreciate people when they're there, but you don't depend on them to keep moving forward. Here's the reality check you need. Loyalty is not about forever. It's about the moment. People can be loyal to you today and gone tomorrow. That's not betrayal. That's life. When you understand this, you stop clinging. You stop begging. And you start standing on your own 2 feet. The most dangerous thing you can do in life is give someone else responsibility for your happiness, your success, your survival. Because the second they walk away, and they will, you collapse. But when you learn to rely on yourself first, when you stop expecting others to save you, you become unstoppable. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I thought they were my friend," remind yourself of this. They were for a time, and that's okay. People come and go. What matters is that you stay, that you don't give up on you. Because at the end of the day, the only person you can count on, the only person who will climb the entire mountain with you, is staring back at you in the mirror. Now ask yourself, are you ready to stop expecting loyalty and start building strength? Because once you do, everything in your life changes. You've heard it before. Real friends never change. It sounds comforting, doesn't it? Like something out of a movie, a group of friends growing old together, always there for each other through every storm. But let me hit you with the truth. People change. And the reason they change isn't always because they're fake or disloyal. It's because life changes them. Circumstances change them. And if you don't understand this, you'll waste years being angry at people for simply being human. Think about the people you were closest to 5 years ago. Are they still in your life the same way? Do you talk every day like you used to? Do you share the same dreams, the same plans? Probably not. And yet, back then, you couldn't imagine life without them. You thought those bonds were unbreakable. But then life happened. People got married, had kids, changed careers, moved cities. They started fighting their own battles. And suddenly, that constant communication you relied on turned into an occasional text. Then that text turned into silence. Here's what most people don't want to admit. When someone drifts away from us, we take it personally. We think, what did I do wrong? Did I upset them? Did they stop caring about me? We internalize their change as a reflection of our worth. But their change isn't about you. It's about them. It's about where they are in life, what they need, and what they're fighting through. And sometimes it's even deeper than that. People change because they have to. Because survival demands it. The same friend who was available for late night talks when you were both broke college kids is now a parent with 2 kids and a mortgage. They don't have the time or energy to be that person anymore. Not because they stopped loving you, but because life pulled them in another direction. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Love and loyalty don't freeze people in place. We expect people to stay the same because it makes us feel secure. But that's not reality. The only constant in life is change. And that includes the people around you. Now, some people will change in ways that hurt you. Maybe they become selfish. Maybe success gets to their head. Maybe they start hanging out with people you can't stand. And you think, wow, they've really changed. But here's something most people overlook. Sometimes they didn't change. They just revealed who they always were. Life has a way of peeling back layers and exposing true character. Pressure, power, money, pain. These things don't always change people. They show you the real them. And when that happens, you have a choice. You can hold on and fight for the version of them that doesn't exist anymore. Or you can let go and accept reality. Most people do the first one. They cling. They beg. They try to keep the friendship alive, out of loyalty, out of history, out of fear of being alone. And you know what that does? It drains you. It keeps you stuck. Because you're trying to bring back a chapter that's already closed. You have to stop romanticizing permanence. Stop expecting that the person who was everything to you at 18 will still fit your life at 30. People grow. People evolve. And sometimes they grow in a direction that no longer aligns with yours. That's not betrayal. That's not abandonment. That's life moving forward. The question is, will you move forward too? Or will you stay stuck in the past, resenting people for doing what they were always going to do? Change. Think about it like this. You're on a train. People get on at different stops. Some ride with you for a few stations, some for half the journey, a few for almost all of it. But very, very few ride from start to finish. And when someone gets off, do you stop the train? Do you scream, "How dare you leave me?" No. It makes you a hostage to other people's choices. And don't get me wrong, this isn't about shaming you. This is about waking you up. Because until you break that pattern, you'll keep suffering. You'll keep letting other people's moods dictate your life. 1 minute, you feel amazing because they called, they texted, they validated you. The next minute, you're in pieces because they didn't. Your emotions swing like a pendulum, not because of what's happening inside you, but because of what's happening outside. And that's no way to live. Do you know what true power feels like? It's when nobody can shake you. When people can leave, betray, disappoint, and you don't collapse. You feel the pain. Sure, you're human, but you don't break because your foundation isn't built on them. It's built on you. That's emotional independence. That's strength. Here's the ugly truth. A lot of people mistake dependence for love. They think, "I can't live without you," means deep connection. No, it means weakness. It means you've lost yourself in someone else. And when you do that, you give away all your leverage. People sense it. They feel when you're desperate for their approval. And you know what that does? It makes them respect you less. Because humans don't respect neediness. They respect strength. Think about the relationships in your life. The ones where you felt the most secure, the most respected, the most valued. Were you needy in those? Or were you standing strong in your own identity? It's the second one, isn't it? Because confidence attracts respect. Independence attracts the loyalty, not the blind kind, but the genuine kind. The problem is, most of us were conditioned to do the opposite. From childhood, we were taught to seek validation, gold stars, praise, approval, and that programming doesn't just vanish when you grow up. It shows up in your friendships, your romantic relationships, even at work. You work harder for applause than for purpose. You stay silent to avoid conflict because you're terrified of losing approval. And then you wonder why you feel trapped, why you feel anxious, why you feel empty. Let me tell you something. Until you learn to validate yourself, you will always be at the mercy of other people. Always. And here's the worst part. You'll attract people who exploit that weakness. Users, manipulators, energy vampires. They love emotionally dependent people because they're easy to control. They know all they have to do is pull back their attention and you'll dance for it. That's not a relationship. That's a power imbalance. The most dangerous phrase you can say is, "I need them." No, you don't need them. You might want them, you might value them, but you don't need anyone to survive except you. The day you understand that, you become bulletproof. Because when someone leaves, It hurts, but it doesn't destroy you. When someone disappoints you, it stings, but it doesn't define you. This isn't about being cold. It's about being strong. It's about loving people without losing yourself. It's about showing up for others without abandoning your own needs. It's about being okay with company and equally okay with solitude. Because the person who masters being alone is unstoppable. Ask yourself this: what would your life look like if you stopped needing validation? If you stopped chasing approval? If you stopped basing your worth on who texts you back? You'd be free. Free to make bold moves. Free to walk away from toxicity. Free to build something real. Because freedom doesn't come from others. It comes from self-reliance. So stop giving people the power to control your emotions. Stop handing out keys to a house they didn't build. Start building strength from within. Because the day you stop depending on others for your peace is the day you start truly living. And if that sounds hard, good. Because nothing worth having is easy. But I promise you this, the moment you break free from emotional dependence, you will never beg for attention again. You will never tolerate disrespect again. And you will never fear being alone again. That's real power. That's real freedom. And that's the life you deserve. The truth is, every relationship you have exists because it serves a purpose for both sides. Maybe that purpose is companionship. Maybe it's inspiration. Maybe it's shared goals, laughter, or emotional safety. You keep going because your destination is yours. Here's another layer to this truth. Sometimes people don't just change. They outgrow you or you outgrow them. Maybe you're chasing growth, discipline, success, and they're still stuck in the same patterns. Maybe you're focused on building something meaningful and they're content wasting time. And you feel that distance. You feel that disconnect. And it hurts because part of you wants to drag them with you. But you can't. You can't carry someone who doesn't want to move. And here's the hardest part. You shouldn't. If you want to reach your potential, you cannot chain yourself to people who refuse to grow. That doesn't make you heartless. It makes you smart. It makes you strong. Now, this isn't about cutting people off cold without reason. It's about understanding seasons. Some people are in your life for a reason, some for a season, and a very rare few for a lifetime. When you stop expecting everyone to be lifetime players, you stop suffering. You stop asking, why did they change? And start saying, thank you for the part you played in my journey. Let me ask you something. Are you the same person you were 10 years ago? Of course not. So why do you expect others to be? You've changed. Your priorities, your mindset, your goals, they've evolved. And you want people to respect that, right? To understand it. Then you owe them the same grace. The problem is, most people confuse change with betrayal. But they're not the same. Betrayal is intentional harm. Change is natural evolution. If someone chooses to grow in a way that doesn't include you, that's not an attack on you. That's them living their life, and you need to live yours. So stop holding on to old versions of people. Stop demanding they stay the same just because it makes you comfortable. Let people change. Let them grow. Let them go. Because the truth is, your life isn't about who stays. It's about who you become. And when you understand that, when you embrace the fact that people will enter and exit your life as they're meant to, you find peace. You stop chasing. You stop clinging. And you start focusing on the only thing you can control: your own growth, your own evolution, your own path. Because at the end of the day, the people who are meant for you will align with you, not because you force them to stay, but because their growth matches yours. Everyone else, they were just passing through. And that's okay. You want to know the real reason most people keep getting hurt? It's not because others are cruel. It's not because life is unfair. It's because you've built your happiness on something fragile: other people. You've handed them the keys to your peace, your worth, your sense of security. And that, my friend, is the biggest mistake you can make. Emotional dependence is a silent killer. It looks harmless at first. You just want someone to be there, to care, to understand you. But over time, it turns you into a prisoner of your own expectations. You've been taught that needing people is normal, even healthy. And yes, connection matters. We all crave it. But there's a difference between valuing relationships and depending on them for your survival. When you depend on others emotionally, you're saying my happiness, my stability, my confidence, they all exist in your hands. Do you understand how dangerous that is? Because the moment that person changes, leaves, disappoints you, your entire world crumbles. Here's the harsh reality. Nobody is obligated to make you feel good about yourself. Nobody owes you validation, attention, or constant reassurance. And yet most people live as if they do. They attach their worth to friendships, relationships, likes, comments, text messages. If someone doesn't respond fast enough, they spiral. If someone pulls away, they panic. Why? Because they've built their identity on external approval instead of internal strength. Let me ask you this. How many decisions have you delayed because you were waiting for someone else to back you up? How many times have you stayed in toxic situations because you couldn't imagine being alone? How many nights have you lost sleep, replaying what someone said, wondering what they think of you? That's emotional dependence in action. It makes you weak. It makes you reactive.